Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Bekah. I am a primal health coach and a certified ketogenic nutrition specialist, and I am happy to be here with Coach Bronson today. And we are going to be talking about bodybuilding and performance and a ketogenic lifestyle and something very special that he has going on right now that is very near and dear to my heart. So, Coach Bronson, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
About me? You want to know about me?
Of
First of all,
course.
I feel bad. I didn't put all of my initials, all the letters behind my name like you have behind your name. I
I
feel
can take it away if it makes you feel better. It's just a habit. It's like a
it is,
habit of
right?
putting it up there. Yeah. Like
Um,
I didn't
so
put the R in there, so it's gone.
a
I mean,
little bit of wait, yeah. So where's no, how come there's no RN? You are still RN, right?
oh yeah. I
Okay.
just didn't finish typing everything in. I was
Oh,
like,
gotcha.
it
Gotcha.
doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters.
No, I think it's good. I think what you're doing matters more than the letters behind your name.
Exactly.
Um, a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Where do we even want to begin? I'm 52 years old. I've been following a carnivore diet for almost 7 years. The reason I started carnivore initially was to see if using it as an elimination diet would resolve the irritable bowels, urgent bowels, um,
Hmm.
the way that my life was controlled and the anxiety that I had around all my gut stuff. We don't need to get into the details, but it was not a good time of my life. Many years were not a good time of my life. Um, After being carnivore for a few months, I realized, hey, wait a second. I also have more energy. I'm able to work out more. I'm not as in pain. I don't have the aches and pains and chronic injuries. All of the torn meniscus and labrums in my shoulders and pulled hamstrings and pulled groins and torn calves and herniated disc, all those things that were limiting me physically went away. Right? I still have them, but the pain from them, the inflammation, the limitations from them, I didn't need to get surgery to fix any of them. They all just kind of feel fine now, and it's been that way for 7 years. Um, and not just sitting around. Right? I'm a CrossFitter. I lift. I do things. I'm active. I'm 52 years old now, and I can. There's nothing really that I can't do. So yeah, so carnivore and fitness, not in that order. I found fitness first and then I found nutrition, which is part of the story because a lot of people think that one or the other is going to fix all their problems. And
Hmm.
I'm here to tell you that if you're doing nutrition and you're not including fitness or vice versa, you are not going to get where you want to go, period.
Agreed.
Not going to happen. So there has to be a combination of the two. It is quality of life. The phrase, a six pack is made in the kitchen, right? Sure.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. That's great. Um, we can't live our life at 80 years old based on having a six pack.
Hmm.
We need to live our life at 80, 90, 100 years old based on, can I move around freely and do the things I want to do physically? And that is 50 nutrition, 50 fitness. So they are equally important when we talk about quality of life and longevity. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm all about.
Nice. So I do believe right now you're getting your master's too.
I am. Unfortunately, it can't go fast enough.
I feel you.
Oh my God, it's so bad. I mean, I've been taking double and triple courses, trying to get it done as fast as possible. I have two. I'm almost done with the spring session. The summer session starts in May, and I only have two classes left, and I'll be done. And I can't take them at the same time. They're only offered sequentially. So like
Mm,
I'm forced to wait until August before I finish. So it's driving me crazy because if I could take them both at the same time, I'd be done in June. I'm like, just give me the dang courses. I would have finished them.
yeah,
So
all of mine are sequential too, and
yeah,
it's like I just I'm I'm doing pharmacology again. Long story, not getting into it.
yeah.
I made an A the first time, so I'm not dumb. It didn't transfer. Um, so retaking it, which makes me want to puke, and then psychiatry for nurse practitioners. So it's like, it's, whew, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then so you're getting ready to, what is your master's going to be in?
Exercise science and nutrition.
Beautiful. And
Yep.
then I do believe I saw that you have applied
I have.
for your PhD.
It's actually a Doctor of Health Science, a DHSC. Because
Oh,
it's an I'm going so the difference between a DHSC and a PhD is a PhD is research focused and a DHSC is a clinical
so
focus.
clinical.
Yeah, it's an
Yay. I
applied focus.
love that.
And I'm very much more hands-on. I mean, I've been a coach for almost 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I do is based on what actually works in practice. And it just makes more sense for me to do something that is kind of in that level. So that's where I'm headed next, assuming I get accepted.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
And keep us, I figure you will, but keep us updated. We
Yeah.
actually have a question already
Oh, hey,
in
awesome.
the chat.
It's
So,
John. I know John. John's a former client.
yeah.
Hey, John, what's up, John? In the context of a ketogenic diet, fasting blood glucose levels correlate with long-term metabolic adaptation.
And then he has a follow up
Okay,
with
he waits
that.
specifically. Does persistent gluconeogenesis in a low-carb environment indicate a dysregulation?
Of glucose metabolism.
It is a necessary adaptation, but it's not even an adaptation. It's already there. So understanding gluconeogenesis, we're jumping right into this stuff, right? Understanding
into some meat.
gluconeogenesis is, to put it bluntly, we could not be ketogenic if gluconeogenesis wasn't a thing. The ability
You
of
have
our
to have
body.
you have to have that way to make the glucose because we do need it.
Exactly.
Everybody,
Glucose.
I get so irritated when people say we don't need glucose. I'm like, we do. We do have to have a certain amount in our blood.
Yes.
It's there.
Red blood cells require it. There are certain
Yep.
parts of the brain that require it. Now that's about it. There's not much else besides those two things, but you do need some. And it is a form of energy that is used by the body. So it is, glycogen is stored in muscle. Glucose is transported in the blood at a consistent basis. The body works to keep it there. I mean, that's the whole process of insulin and everything we have is about keeping blood sugar at the appropriate levels. So we do need glucose. When we say that carbs are not essential, we're not saying glucose is not essential. We're saying that you don't have to eat them specifically because gluconeogenesis will make them when you need it.
Yep.
Will make it when you need it. So gluconeogenesis and the optimization from a limiting factor and from an efficiency factor is what being ketogenic is all about. It, by definition, is metabolic flexibility. So this is another misinterpretation or use of the word metabolic, of phrases in this whole thing. A lot of the confusion people get is because people are using words incorrectly. So metabolic flexibility has nothing to do with what you're eating, i.e. eating to be metabolically flexible. We say, oh, I need to have some carbs so my body can. No, that's not what we're talking about. That definition, the definition or the use case of I need to eat some carbs so my body stays used to eating carbs or processing carbs and processing fat, that is not metabolic flexibility. Anybody that tells you that has no idea what they're talking about. That is digestive, at the best case, digestive flexibility. That is your body's, your gut's ability to manage and digest those things. Metabolic flexibility is the functions of your body internally, the ability to produce and utilize the fuels that it needs without needing to eat them.
Yep.
Right? So fat, we always need to eat. Protein, we always need to eat. But the ability to leverage body fat, break it down and use it for energy when it's needed. The ability to, because I'm breaking down body fat, I'm creating substrates to make glucose, right? We break body fat down, we get fatty acids and we get glycerol. Glycerol goes right into gluconeogenesis. And boom, we got some glucose. I exercise, I process energy. Oh, look, I'm taking glucose. I'm making lactate. And when I break that down, oh, I can reshuttle that lactate back into the system in a gluconeogenesis through the Cori cycle, and I can make some more glucose. So everything that's in our body that is efficient at utilizing and making the energy that we need, that is metabolic flexibility. The ability to shift back and forth based on what we're doing without the dependency on eating carbs.
I love
So
that.
gluconeogenesis is required, and it's part of the process.
Yeah, and I think that something that it was kind of like a light bulb moment. I'm friends with Bart K, and I was sitting there, and he likes to tutor me in physiology behind the scenes, like
Uh-huh.
through text. And I came to this light bulb moment. I was like, oh my gosh, we in the ketogenic space, everybody talks about, oh, I flipped to fat burning mode. I flipped to glucose burning mode. I was like, you have mitochondria, trillions of mitochondria that are scattered in all the cells of your body, except red blood cells, obviously. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is going on simultaneously. You've got some cells, some mitochondria that are burning fat for fuel because that's what's available. And then you have some that has some glucose available. So they are burning glucose for fuel. So this is going on simultaneously. And it's not just this like on off switch of both of them. It's like when one's on, the other one's off. It's like, and then they flip flop. It doesn't happen. And that was a light bulb moment for me.
Yeah.
And that
It's
was
a
just,
continuum. Think
yeah.
about it like a continuum. There's three, and I really, 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 and this is on my list of things to do, and I've been working on it off and on for a year or two. I feel like I need to write a paper that proposes a fourth metabolic pathway, because nobody talks about the ketone metabolism as a pathway for energy.
Thank
Right?
you.
So
Nobody is talking about it. And
nobody
I've
ever
tried
talks
to
about it.
get people, I've even asked, I'm like, listen, can Bart, because Bart's really smart. I'm like,
Mhm.
Bart, can you please tell me the exact pathway that this is going? And he's like, it's beta hydroxybutyrate is
Right.
to acetoacetate. I'm like, no. Like, I need the pathway. And
Ketolysis.
yes. And
Right. It's
nobody
if you
can tell
Google
me.
if you Google, like, you have to train Google to look for it when you're looking for it. When I first even learned of the word, because I had never even heard the word ketolysis, I had to chat GPT it, like, what is the process that the body uses to utilize ketones for fuel? And I had to figure it out, because it's not, the keto book that Dr. Noakes came out with, right? The ketogenic, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this book.
Great
The
book.
what is this? This is the science of therapeutic carbohydrate restriction in human health. This is the epitome of
Brilliant.
science nutrition for ketogenic diet.
Yeah, and if you want to study, just FYI, this is worth the money you pay for it because of all the freaking studies they've got listed. It's beautiful.
Yes. Ketolysis isn't in this book.
That is crazy.
The actual process of ketone metabolism is not in this book. That's how
Understood.
understood. Like, why don't we talk about this? So
I don't know.
I've spent the
Write
last
the
year and
paper.
a half
I
looking at
will
this, trying
read
to
it.
figure out what is going on. And here's the thing, and this is why I think no one's talking about it. The only place ketones actually make a major difference in energy utilization is in the brain.
Not in the heart too, because there are literally
In the heart
pathways in the
but mostly in the brain. In the brain is the only place where if you introduce ketones, it will prefer ketones even in the presence of glucose.
Mhm.
Everywhere else, it's determined by the availability of glucose. If glucose is there, it will take preference because it needs to get rid of it faster, right? It's that whole oxidative priority thing. The brain is the only place when it comes to ketones and glucose where oxidative priority basically gets flipped on its head. No matter how much glucose is available, if you introduce ketones will take over for the brain. The brain wants ketones more than anything else. So that is why I think, because when you talk about most things, we talk about energy metabolism, The focus is on performance. People are looking at muscle and endurance and strength and high intensity activity and all these things. And ketones don't really provide that much energy to muscle for muscle contraction. They don't really provide that much energy to these things. There's a small percentage, but it's a small percentage. So I think that's one of the main reasons why nobody talks about it, but it still is majorly impactful when you consider, and this is why I think it should be introduced as a fourth pathway, because the brain is 20% of your energy consumption.
Not
Right. So
only is it 20% of our energy consumption, but if you look at the diseases that are on the market today,
yeah,
for example,
yeah, that's a
that's a
bad
bad
way. That's
way.
a correct but bad way to put it.
Yeah, like it's like we have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, which is neurological.
Dementia.
It's
Yep.
not, yeah, dementia, all these things. Like that's huge. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got the studies talking about why ketogenesis ketogenics works for these disorders and diseases, but we don't have that understanding of the whole pathway.
Right. And ketolysis is a key. I just so long story short, I think there are four metabolic pathways. We know there's the ATP PC system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Stored energy. We know glycolysis, where your body uses glucose for fuel, and we know fatty acid oxidation. Ketones play a role. I don't think they play a role in muscle as much as they do in the brain. But if you look at some of the recent science, particularly the stuff that Professor Noakes has been talking about since the 1970s,
Right.
right, with the central governor theory and the idea that the brain controls fatigue, and some
Mm-hmm.
of that has to do with energy availability. And if you can provide ketones to the brain, you can perform for longer and have better
Yeah.
endurance and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff in the air about, ketones and its actual effect on a lot of different things from an energy metabolism perspective. But I do believe it's just as important as the other three.
I love that.
Yeah.
So John's got another question. He said
Shoot.
Coach B, and that's both of us. So I don't know. I have not read this book because I don't have time to read anything other than pharmacology and psychology.
So this is interesting. So I have not read Born to Walk. I've seen excerpts and I've seen some of the studies it references. I am actually in the process of writing a paper it'll probably be a year before we even get it ready to publish. But we are writing a paper right now that kind of talks about how metabolic flexibility, fat max, VO2 max, et cetera, metabolic movement economy in particular is not an effective measure of metabolic performance for endurance athletes in the context of a ketogenic diet. Because all of it is based on oxygen consumption. And when you look at a ketogenic diet and you talk about how is somebody performing, well, when they're ketogenic, their fat oxidation rates massively increase.
Yeah.
Massively
And we've got studies proving
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, it's obvious, right? If you're forcing your body to only burn fat, then you're going to burn more fat. The thing is, when that happens, all of the metrics that we use to measure metabolic performance in endurance activities is based on oxygen consumption. So when oxygen consumption goes up, that is bad for the markers. So when we look at what we call the, oh boy, I'm having a brain cramp. RER,
Okay.
energy ratio. I forget what the first R stands for. Total brain cramp. When we look at our RER ratings, anything below a certain number means you're burning mostly fat. Anything above a certain number means you're burning mostly glucose. So when we are doing these measures, our VO2 max looks great, but our oxygen consumption is crazy. And it's like, well, wait a second. If our oxygen consumption is crazy in a carb centric paradigm, that means we're not accessing carbs like we should be, which to most people, well, I'm doing high intensity effort, I should be using carbs. So that's a bad thing if I'm using fat. But then you think, wait a second, if I'm using fat at higher intensities and I'm burning more oxygen, then that should mean I'm saving the energy of glucose for when I really need it. And I'm actually being more efficient and metabolically flexible in the context of burning fat more. right? I'm getting more ATP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right. The energy efficiency is better. Like there's a whole bunch of things. So the idea of fat max, VO2 max, movement economy in the context of a ketogenic diet is completely flipped upside down. And there's actually that's the focus of my master's thesis,
Oh,
and
yay.
it's a paper that I'm working on. So good
I
question,
can't
John.
wait. I can't wait to read it. He said it's a light bulb statement for the markers. He didn't
Yeah,
even think of that.
yeah.
Uh, so Lynn's got a question. This is for you.
Okay. Hubs 58 was into basketball. Oh no, was into BB during football. What is BB?
I don't know.
Oh,
Retain
bodybuilding
most
during
bodybuilding.
college
Okay.
football. Retained most of his bulk by lifting at lesser levels. Interested in body. It's best to work out fasted. Okay.
Okay.
Every goal is going to have a different answer. So
Mm-hmm.
the question is he looking to bodybuild again because he wants to be a bodybuilder and compete or get just the physique of a bodybuilder, or bodybuilding style of lifting so that he can just improve his overall strength and feel and look better? Is it a quality of life thing, or is there something he's actually trying to accomplish in bodybuilding as a sport? Either way, when it comes to fasting, I would not recommend fasting prior to a workout on purpose. If it's your schedule, yeah, and you're going to find this for pretty much any question involving fasting for me in general is going to be on purpose is usually not a good idea. If it happens due to schedule or satiety signals or whatever else as a natural course of what you're doing to fuel your body and provide yourself the nutrition that you need, then it is what it is. But fasting on purpose in more cases than not is not helpful because of a couple different reasons. And I'll explain a couple different reasons why. Number one, most people are fasting as a way to lose weight when what they
Mm-hmm.
should be doing is eating more and exercising. If you eat more, in many cases, and by more, I mean usually protein, right? If you're
Yes.
eating more protein and you're exercising, you're going to get all of the same benefits as fasting. A ketogenic diet, by definition, is a fasting
Fasting
mimicking diet,
mimicking. Yep.
right? So the need to fast, this I see this all the time. I'm going keto and I'm going to start intermittent fasting. Why are you doing both? It's not going to make anything happen faster. And you're more likely, this is the second thing, you're more likely to deprive yourself of the nutrition that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Your body needs nutrition, micro and macro, in order to function. Metabolic health cannot be gained by depriving yourself of the things that you need for metabolic health.
Mm.
Okay. If you eat enough, adequate protein, adequate fat, whole foods, stay away from the alcohol. If you're doing that and you're exercising with the intent on building physical competency, i.e., strength and movement, then you're going to get all of the benefits of fasting plus the physical improvements of exercise. So,
Mm-hmm.
fasting can't improve your coordination.
Mm-mm.
Fasting can't improve your balance. Fasting can't improve your body's ability to process information and apply that to how your body moves, proprioception.
Mm.
Fasting can't build muscle, right? There's all of these things that you do. If you get all the benefits of autophagy, mitophagy, apoptosis,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that everybody throws around with all the benefits of fasting, you get all of that by going keto.
Yep.
So if you go keto and you start lifting some heavy dang weights, then you're going to get the fasting benefits and the physical improvement benefits of what you can do in your environment and around you every day.
Mm. I love that answer. I will say that I work out fasted because I get up in the mornings, I drink a cup of coffee, and it's black. I do black coffee,
Uh-huh.
and I take my kids to school
Yep.
and drop them off. I head straight to the gym and I play pickleball for at
Okay.
least an hour
Mm-hmm.
because if you want to learn coordination, that like have a bunch of 70 70-year-old people teach you pickleball and watch them kick your butt, because
Yeah.
they will do that.
Yep.
They will run you into the ground. I sprint more now playing pickleball, going after trick shots that
Oh,
people
it's
do.
ridiculous. They know every angle.
Yes,
Yeah.
they know how to aim it. They know where to drop it. They know, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I
I
sprint more
used to
now
play.
doing that.
So back in the day, I used to play racquetball,
Okay.
and I played a guy regularly. And then after like 2 months, he told me he literally would stand in one spot in the court,
Mhm.
and I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut
Chasing the
off, and
ball.
he's standing in one spot, just pop, 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 pop. And I'm like running into the wall, breaking my nose, breaking my toe, doing all these things. And then I come to find out like 2 months after playing him regularly that he played on the Puerto Rican national team. Right. He's like 20 years older than me. He's like, oh, yeah, I played in the black. I'm like, oh, my God, geez, no wonder you're kicking my butt. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So it's like, but that's what I do, and so I work out fasted because I don't eat of the mornings, because
Mhm.
if I eat, now this is
Sure.
me. Um, if I eat of the mornings, I will eat continuously throughout the entire day.
Mm.
There's no satiety signal if
Mhm.
I eat starting in the mornings.
Yeah.
If I eat starting after 10 or 11, I can eat 2 meals and be golden and life's okay. But if I start
Sure.
in the morning, it's like not a continuous wanting to eat.
Yeah. And again, that's a good example of the third aspect, and that is, lifestyle, where you're at with
Mhm.
your relationship with food or the habits that you have and
Mhm.
things like that. My the trap that I see people get into with fasting, whether it's long-term fasting or intermittent fasting,
Mhm.
is doing it on purpose because they think it's going to do something for them, that there is an easier way to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? If you're fasting on purpose,
Mhm.
there are a couple different specific scenarios where I've worked with people that was like, hey, I think we need to fast on purpose. Maybe it's
Mhm.
a satiety signal thing, a retraining of your satiety signals.
Mhm.
Because some people come in and they have no idea what it means to feel hungry or what it means to feel full, right? So we have to do things on a clock.
Yeah.
And then with other people, maybe there's a specific thing going on in their schedule or with their progress that they're trying to see, and they're having some issues balancing and figuring out when the best thing to do and timing. And then it's an experimentation process. Do you feel different if you eat now versus then? Do you feel different if you have a longer break or a shorter break between meals? Like, you got to play around with that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
for 99% of the people that I've ever seen, as long as I've been doing this,
Mhm.
um, fasting on purpose tends to make things more complex, and that isn't good for sustainability, right? The
Agreed.
more the more things, particularly when someone's getting started, the more things you have to manage in the process, the harder it is to stay consistent, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you
Well,
eat till you're full, that's why Dr. Berry's recommendation of just eat till you're comfortably stuffed is so great, because it takes the purposefulness out of when you're eating, and it
yeah.
lets you get in touch with that,
With what
with
you
your
feel.
body.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You probably saw my announcement or saw that I'd been hired on by Revero, and they're
Yeah,
one of those, people too, that, or the groups too, that they're like, listen, are you like, we don't recommend you fast unless if you come in fasting and you're used to it and that's like your lifestyle, okay. But like if you're coming in, we're let's work on your diet first, and then we can pull tools, because I think that fasting and intermittent fasting are tools in a toolbox.
sure.
I think that diet needs to be the foundation, physical activity needs to be another piece of that foundation, and then we've got all these other tools out here to work
Yes.
with.
Yes. Yeah. There's a handful of things, and I talk about this in my book. I know you were going to put the link up, but we don't need to do that. I came out with a book
It's on
middle of
Amazon
last year.
called
Go to
Body Confident.
Amazon.
Go
I've got
get it.
three books out on Amazon, but the latest one is called Body Confident. And one of the things I talk about in there is, what does nutrition even mean?
Mhm.
Right? Nutrition is, when we look at the density of nutrition, what are we actually getting out of the food that we're eating? Does it have the things in it that I actually need? Bioavailability. Can my body actually get to the things that are in what I'm eating? And then
Mhm.
thirdly, satiety. If I eat it, is it making me self-manage? My body's biological systems manage how much and what I'm getting based on if I'm getting what I need. And that's the
Mhm.
thing. Satiety, the reason people overeat isn't because we don't have self-control. It's because we're not getting nutrition.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Right?
because everything like,
We're getting a bunch of fake food that has no nutrition that we have to keep getting because our body's like, I need nutrition,
and so
right?
therefore I'm still hungry.
I'm
Yeah.
always hungry. Exactly.
Because it's a very primitive, it's very primitive. There's very rare times that your body craves something that it actually like needs. It's just gives you like, hey, I'm hungry.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they're
Yep.
like, and with the exception of thirst and salt, I would say that most of the time it's not very specific. Like
Yeah.
I want that stick of butter because I am craving fat. My body says I need fat. I don't know if I believe that's like there.
I would say it's not. In my experience as a coach, I've been coaching since 2011. Um,
You're aging yourself.
Anytime somebody says my body needs, it is a scapegoat for I have an attachment to. So just to put that out there,
Yeah.
that's just the way that I've seen it. And it pretty much anytime
So my
somebody gives that
instinct
thing
is
up, right? Anytime somebody says, you know what, okay, I feel like my body needs this, but I'm going to stop because it's possible that this is what's keeping me from where I want to go. And then they stop doing that thing. And oh my God, look, I'm
yeah.
making progress all of a sudden. What happened?
I
Right.
will say that when I was pregnant, it was a little bit different.
Well, there,
It was
but see, even then, there's something that there's still a connection your brain has to
well,
make to what it
broccoli. There
is,
was a
right?
couple of times I craved broccoli.
Ooh,
So
that's a
I
weird one. That's a
it
weird
is a
one.
weird one, but but it's well, my dad said it was probably calcium. My body was like, you need some calcium.
Hmm.
Um
Okay. So
there
she added some more. So no
yeah, she did.
competition. He wants fitness and definition. When I say fasting, it's just that he eats OMAD and eats post workout. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if it's working. So here's the other thing about recommendations that everyone needs to understand. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. If it's coming from me, it's coming from you, it's coming from Dr. Barry, it's coming from Dr. Sivas, from Bart K, from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Andrew Huberman. It doesn't make a difference. If it's working for you, you're good.
Yeah.
If it's not working for you, it's time to try something different. Right? What's
Yep.
the next thing that seems most appropriate based on where you are now? And it doesn't have to be the newest, flashiest thing. It could be some small little change that you make in what you're currently doing. So if you're saying, if he's eating OMAD now and he's eating post workout and he seems to be making progress and he's happy with that,
Mhm.
there's no need to change it.
Yeah. I would say that if he's also, this is my, just looking at it, if this was me, if I am starving right before a workout, like I am starving,
Mm-hmm.
I should probably eat something
Yeah.
before I go, because I'm going to think about it the entire. I'm going to think about food and not focus on the workout the entire
Yeah.
time. But if there's something going on weird, if my body is telling me I'm hungry at 6 a.m,
Mm-hmm.
but it could be that you've been eating not enough, and all of a sudden my body's like, screw you,
Right.
I need you to eat. But
Yeah. But she
yeah,
hasn't said anything about how he's feeling. So Lynn, I would
yeah,
say if he's feeling fine, he's making
mhm,
progress, he's getting stronger in the gym, he's got energy,
mhm,
then that could be working. Now, chances are, and this is something I see a lot of times with OMAD, and it's something I've worked with because I've experimented OMAD myself, is it is hard, particularly as a guy, to eat everything that you need for a day in one meal. It is hard.
I would
So
say it's
I've
hard
done
for
OMAD
women
for short
too.
periods of time. It usually doesn't last long because I feel like over time I end up going the wrong direction, energy wise, workout wise, etc. And I always, 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 always end up back naturally feeling great at 2 meals a day.
Hmm.
Right? I eat about 11 o'clock for my lunch, and then I eat about 6 o'clock for my dinner. And that's just what I do. And that is working very well for me. I've been doing that now for a while, and I feel fantastic doing that. So Again, just see how you're doing. Everything you do is an experiment. Everything he does is an experiment. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's not working, then maybe change something up.
Yeah.
As far as creatine goes, um, I think the book is still out on the real benefits of creatine in the context of a carnivore diet or a ketogenic animal-based whole foods diet. If you're eating enough animal meat, particularly red meat, ruminant meat, I really find it hard to believe that you're not getting enough creatine already that you would need to supplement. There's nothing necessarily wrong with supplementing if you want to. I just am not sure practically what the benefits of that extra creatine are. I know I've gone through phases where I've done creatine for 3, 4, 5, 6 months at a time. And I personally have not seen any, I mean, because I eat a pound of red meat and a dozen eggs almost every day, right? So I don't think that I'm lacking in creatine whether I supplement or not. So for me, I don't know. I've not seen a difference when I take it, even for long periods of time. Some people swear by it. I think a lot of it is placebo effect more than anything else. But yeah, I mean, of all of the things that you're going to take, creatine is probably the safest, most studied. Go for it, have a blast. It's not going to hurt anything. Do you need to? Is there really benefit? Is it worth the money? You got to figure that out for yourself.
And she asked about any other beneficial supplements.
For guys and potentially for women, I have not heard any women that do it, but for guys specifically, if you are worried about your free testosterone, I highly recommend taking some boron on a regular basis.
Interesting. I had not heard that.
It
I'm going to look that
reduces
up.
your sex binding hormone globulin, I can never say that.
Sex.
SHBG,
Yes.
sex hormone binding globulin.
Globulin. Yes.
Um,
It's a mouthful.
Yes. So it helps reduce that. I forget the pathway that it does that, but it helps lower the SHBG, which increases your free test. And I was taught that by Jonathan Shane, the Keto Road,
Okay.
about a year and a half ago. I think it was the low carb cruise we were on.
Was it?
And so I said, all right, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. So I started taking, for about 2 months, I took 6 grams of boron a day. Then I went up to 9 milligrams, 6 milligrams a day. Then I went up to 9 milligrams a day. And I've been taking 9 milligrams a day for several months now. In, I want to say, an 8-month time frame, I doubled my free test.
Nice.
So
I will say that
I was
carnivore does help with that too.
Yeah, I was mid-range before I started. I was right in the smack dab, right in the middle of the nominal range. So it wasn't that I was low. It's just I wasn't as high as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I just got a test through Function Health recently, and I was above range.
Nice. Well, I think that it's interesting. A lot of men come onto this and they want their testosterone to increase, and just eating red meat and lifting weights increases your testosterone. So,
and if you there's another little secret. If you want to increase your test, get more sleep.
you know what? If you want to improve your life,
in every aspect of your life, yes,
get more sleep. I don't know about you guys, but we try to protect our sleep like with guns drawn. Like we have our set times for everything. Like everybody in our family has insomnia, and some of it's genetic. Like it runs in my husband's family. So it's like we have to make sure that supplements are taken at the right time, lights go out at the right time, like the temperature has to be right, no blue light. Like we just protect it, and we turn off our notifications. And
wow, yeah,
like we're very, very strict.
Yeah, Nat and I are not as strict as we should be. We find ourselves frequently staying up later than we want to, or than we should, I should say. If we didn't want to, we wouldn't do it. But We end up staying up later than we know we should, or we'll get in bed and then we'll doom scroll together. We do this thing where we share videos with each other and we send them to each other throughout the day, but then we wait until it's time for bed and then watch them with each other. So I'll send her like 5 or 6 videos on social media and then watch her watch them.
We do that. We do that, but we try to do it. We try to do it before 7:00.
Yeah, no. So it's a
we-
bad habit that we have that we're trying to do better
we
at.
have 2 autistic kids. So
Mhm.
we had to protect their sleep too,
Yeah.
because they will not sleep. That is
Right.
something that is very common in the autistic community. They have insomnia. So
Mhm.
it's like we've had to put very strict parameters in.
Yeah.
And it fell to us to also follow along.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? For sure, do that.
Yeah. And then after this question, I want to get into a couple of things because
Okay.
there's something I want to make sure we hit. Husband is ketovore, 69 years old, lifts weights all the time, has a testosterone level of about 1100. Awesome. That's pretty nice.
That's fantastic. I'm assuming that's a total test level. The real question of what really matters is the free test.
Yep.
So what's the free testosterone level? Because that's what's usable by your body.
That's not bound to proteins. Yeah.
1100 could be great. For instance, my free test doubled since my last test, but my total test went down. Right. So it's about what's available to the body, not what's totally there.
Yes. Because a lot of the other, like how labs work, free means that you can use it, which is why in thyroid, because I'm a thyroid person, free T3, free T4, that's what the body has to use.
Yep.
If you look at totals, it's already, some of that is bound to proteins in the blood.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think that that's a bad thing necessarily. If the free was like my free testosterone was like 2 points above the nominal range. So I was above the high in the nominal range. If it was super high, like 10, 15, 20 points over, and I was having some kind of issues, right? The things that happen with free testosterone or with high testosterone could be the same things. It's like thyroid. If you're having issues with energy, it could be a high or a low thyroid thing, right? So it's similar with any hormone. It's throwing signals off in your body, and things aren't just going to do what they need to do. So you would know if he should know if something is off.
Yeah, and she said she's gonna have to ask him.
Yeah.
And then, John wants to know if there's a particular boron you use.
Hold on. I think I took a picture recently of what I take. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
He wonders if it's glycinate or chelated.
I actually take a mix, and I'll pull up if I can find the actual brand. Hold on. I know I just took a picture of it the other day, and of course I won't be able to find it now. Right.
That's the way it always goes.
Right. Hold on. Let me go to my photos. Wait, how did Google change their photos thing? Google Photos changed everything.
Yeah.
There's a brand. If I can't find it real quick, then I'll just send it to you. You can put it in the.
I'll put it in the community underneath the replay. Yep.
I get it on Amazon. I could probably just get up and go get it. It's in the kitchen. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
It's not popping up right now.
Okay. We'll get.
It's like a blend. It's like a blend of 3 different kinds.
I can also post it in the description too and put a link to it. Carnivore communicator, any tips for somebody who struggles to eat enough food? Full easily, rarely hungry. 97 pounds, 5'2", does not want to lose weight.
Yeah. This is potentially, not knowing anything really other than this about you. Just like we talked about, fasting can be a tool to help train satiety signals. Sometimes eating even when you're not hungry needs to be a tool to train signals. There are many people who don't know what it's like to feel hungry because they never feel hungry.
Yeah.
They get full really easily. It takes 2 bites and they're like, oh, I'm full, I'm done. You've trained your body that that's all you can handle. Your body can handle more. It's all up here, right? So you've got to kind of retrain those signals and the expectation. And that's not an easy thing to do. I know there are times when you're eating and you're just like, I feel like I'm going to puke if I take another bite, right? You're that guy from Monty Python. Just another wafer, sir. Um, if anybody gets that reference. Uh, but
I'm old enough to know I'm old enough to know Monty Python. So it's like,
so yeah, I think there's something to be said for eating when you're not hungry if you're trying to retrain that. If you've chronically undereaten in the past, it is going to be a challenge to eat enough.
mhm,
But you have to kind of make yourself do it for a short period of time. And trust me, while you're doing that, it's going to suck. But once your body gets used to that amount of intake, it's going to start looking for it, right? It's going to start expecting it. And then you're going to be like, hey, I'm feeling hungry and it's earlier than I would normally feel hungry. What's going on? That's because your body's starting to go, oh, hey, I'm used to this. I need this. I want this. This is a good thing. Let's get that in there. If you're also not doing things that are physically demanding of your body on a
yep,
regular basis, it will be harder to eat more. The number one thing that you can do to increase your hunger is
is
work your butt off in the gym
yep,
every single time.
yep.
Get in the gym on a regular basis and work your butt. And you will I guarantee you will want to eat more.
Said she's trying, but her abdomen bloats up. It's so
Okay,
uncomfortable.
so there's some other things to take a look at there. Number one, what are you eating? Right?
Mhm,
If you're eating anything with fiber, stop. Right? If you're eating a lot of plant stuff, stop. Focus on the most nutrient dense things you can. So as much red meat as possible. Fatty red meat should make up majority of what you're eating. If you're bloating and you're eating mostly fatty red meat, then I would go get some gut stuff checked out. You might have something going on there. Maybe it's just a purely stomach acid thing. Maybe it's an enzyme. Maybe it's a low proteolysis. Maybe or protease.
mhm,
There might be some enzymatic things going on. Maybe take some digestive enzymes before you eat. So get
yep.
some of that stuff checked out and see potentially it's that. So if it's not I just feel full and I'm not hungry, if it's I actually have gastric distress when I eat and it's uncomfortable,
Then get it
that's
checked
a
out.
sign that there's something going on in your gut that you might need to get looked at.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that there could be something medical.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot lately of people like, yeah, that just carnivore harder. It's like,
No,
can we
no.
please talk about how there are times when your body does break a little
Yes.
bit and you need something. She did just find out there's some GI things off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fix those. And yes, it is okay that if you need medical help, to utilize that medical help and
Yeah.
utilize any pharmaceutical. It includes digestive enzymes because the most potent digestive enzymes are the ones that are prescribed to you because they are higher and they just have a higher level. Just, it is okay if you need them for a short term. It is
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Again, there are so many tools out there.
yes.
We don't have a problem with the tools. It's the reason we're using the tools that people get caught and trapped.
Yes, exactly. So I want to make sure that we hit on this because this is something near and dear to my heart. You have a project coming up
Mm.
with a company that I absolutely love with Toward Health. You're working with
Mhm.
Dr. Tro's office,
Yep.
and I want you to talk to us about this GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And I will put this in the description. Um, I didn't have time to do it right at this moment, but I
Sure.
will go and re-put this in the description. Talk to us about what you are doing because this is amazing.
Yeah. So you guys may not know, I didn't talk about this at the beginning, but I was in the Army for 17 years. I was 5 years in active and 12 years in the Guard. And I have always really wanted to do something with veterans, particularly being myself, right? So when I first got
Mhm.
out, I spent a short amount of time on disability because I had some things that had happened in the military. I was able to get off of that. A lot of veterans are stuck in that cycle and feel like they
Mhm.
can't get out of the cycle of disability, and their livelihood depends on how much percentage of disability they get. And there is a whole legal industry that has been built on getting veterans as much disability as possible.
Yep.
It sickens me in many ways. But the worst part of it, and this is the thing that my experience, I'm a veteran, but also having been overweight, dealing with the symptoms that I didn't know at the time of metabolic syndrome, having the gut issues that I had, having the health issues that I had, having the chronic injuries and pain and discomfort and anxiety and poor self-image and all of those things that come with all the issues that a lot of people have, but then having figured out how to get out of that, right? Figuring out that I have the power to do that. There's a lot of veterans that don't feel like they have that. They're not getting the support that they need from the Veterans Administration. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
They're not getting the information. They're not getting the help. They're not being told they're being told the same thing everyone else is being told, right? Eat more grains, get your fiber, red meat's bad for you. Don't eat any eggs, right? All of these things, a glass of alcohol, a glass of wine a day is good for you. All the bull crap, right? And now we have 8 million veterans that have diabetes. 30% of veterans that are currently in the healthcare system have fatty liver disease, right? Hundreds of thousands dying from cardiovascular disease. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, I've wanted to do something for a while. It's kind of been like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to just, join some organization that I don't really know what they're doing. I don't want to just be a name in a thing. Like, I want to do something that makes a difference.
Yep.
And I met Dr. Tro, gosh, it's been probably a couple of years now, maybe 2. It might have even been, it seems like a lot has happened. It might have been last year. It might have been the year before on the low carb cruise. In case you haven't figured it out, a lot of stuff happens on the low carb cruise.
Oh my gosh. It was like the best experience ever. Like, it was so fun hanging out with everybody.
Everyone needs to go on the low carb cruise. So this year it's too late. We're going to Alaska. It's already all booked, but next year is Caribbean, lowcarbcruise.com. Go check it out. Sign up.
Oh, they've already, oh, good.
Yeah. I think all the info's out for next year. So you should come. But anywho, so I met Dr. Tro on the cruise and we clicked instantly. The passion that he's got. I mean, if you know anything about Dr. Tro, he's got no qualms about saying how he feels, doing what he's got to do to get people.
Especially if you follow him on social media.
Yeah. Right. And so we very much have a kinship in what we want to do and how we're doing it and who we want to help. And I went to him a little while ago and was like, hey, I want to do something to help veterans. I was initially thinking, maybe when I get this doctorate, I can open up a clinic, I can do something, maybe a virtual thing. And I was talking to him initially about, how are you doing toward health? How did that work? How are you setting that up? What's that business model look like? What tools are you using, et cetera? And then it hit me. It's like, you know what? He's already got all that. And it works, right? They just came out with a study a couple months ago that said, hey, here's what 12 months of our program looks like. Better results than GLP-1s, cheaper than insulin, better results than medical interventions, right? Just do what he says to do for 12 months and you're going to change your life. He's got the infrastructure. He's got coaches. He's got his practice. He's got his practitioners. Like, all this stuff is there. He's got the apps and the software. It's all there. And I was like, you know what? It would be a lot easier for me to just say, how can I help people get to a program that works? I don't need to build my own program. This is already a program that exists. So that's where this whole idea of, let's just see if we can raise enough money to subsidize one veteran to go through his program for 12 months. His program is a minimum. You can't sign up for less than 12 months. Right. So we're going to see, can we raise enough money to have one person target a veteran? We're going to see if we can raise the money. Once I've got the money, then I can say, okay, now we need to find someone that we want to help. So then we'll go through the process of, okay, everybody that if you know someone who's looking, if you're looking for help, here's a form, fill it out. We'll look at your application. Tell us why you think we should, you should be the recipient, et cetera. Go through that process. And then get somebody in that program. This is a test. I want to do this, see if it works, see what kind of engagement and response we can get from everyone in the carnivore keto community to help veterans, and say, look, if we can do this for one person, then let's take it to businesses. Let's take it to companies. Let's take it to other veterans organizations. Say, look, this is what we're doing. The next time we do this, I want to do 5 people. I want to do 10 people. I want to do 100 people. How much can we do and how big can we get this so we can start whittling away at that 8 million people?
Yeah. Well, because, and we're military. A lot of people know that we're active duty, and I have seen, and my dad, of course, was a veteran, and I've seen firsthand the damage that it does, and like what you're exposed to does do damage.
Yeah.
And then the lifestyle that they have and the care at the VA is very poor.
It's horrible.
In some places. There are some VAs that are way better than others, I will say. The one at Richmond, Virginia is horrific. My dad was there for a while, and it was absolutely horrible. They were just pill pushers. And then they were like, oh, we've given you this much narcotics. Oh, well, now we're just going to take them away because we're assholes. And it's like nobody ever tried to fix anything there.
Yep.
But we have done such a disservice to our service members over the years. And I love what you're doing. And I do encourage everybody. I will put the link in the description to donate, even if it's $5, even if it's $1. I don't care what you donate.
Anything's going to help.
Just anything, give up 1 cup of coffee and put that cup of coffee in as, to the GoFundMe. Dr. Tro's organization is absolutely fantastic. It is a small run company, and Dr. Laura Buchanan is part of that. And they are absolutely fantastic people. And I love what they're doing. Their success rate is huge.
There are very few people in the space that I personally know that care as much as Dr. Tro does.
Yeah.
Very few. I get, particularly when it comes to veterans, I get emotional. I'm very passionate about this particular population. Dr. Tro is passionate about everybody. If he had his way, toward health would be a worldwide organization that is, just fixing everything all over the place, right? Because that's just the passion he's got for doing this, and how pissed off he gets at the bad information and the poor support that everybody in the world is getting as far as nutrition and health goes.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. It was great talking with them on the low carb cruise. Now, Ellen, you are way late if you're just now joining. Good morning. It's almost not morning no more, at least where we are. We're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I love what they're doing, and I love that you're doing this. And of course, you and my husband had a long conversation, and he was talking to you about the crap that we've seen in the military. And of course, that was all active duty, but they deserve better.
Well, I had an idea today while I was cooking breakfast. It was one of those, oh my God, why this, I need to do this ideas. And I'm not sure what is available now, but I know when I got out of when I separated from active duty, all of the education about separating had to do with personal finances, job search, etc. There was nothing. And I'm sure now there's a lot more on the mental health side of things. But I still haven't heard of anybody talking about what about the health aspect? Because when you leave the military, you no longer have a requirement to stay in shape.
No.
Right? So who's teaching these people what actual nutrition and health and fitness is when they're on their own and they've got to figure it out? And that's part of the problem. We get institutionalized. We spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the military. There's a whole bunch of things that we just do because the military told us to do it. And that's just how we lived, because that's what the structure that we were brought up in. That's how we existed. When we leave that institutionalization doesn't mean the information leaves with us.
Yeah.
Right. How to stay healthy is not something that comes with us when we leave the military. And I think there's an opportunity there. I'm like, I've got to I got to figure out a way to get into the military complex and offer what is quality of life after the military look like,
Yeah.
you know?
Well,
And so
we'll
that's
be
an
at Fort
opportunity that's going
Campbell,
to
so
be
that
bugging around in my head now for a while.
we'll be at Fort Campbell. So if there's any way I can bring you in as a speaker, like to
I'd love to.
something, I will.
Absolutely.
We will do it.
Do it. I
So
would do it in a heartbeat.
yeah, so it'll be really good.
I would love to go back to Fort Campbell. It's only been 30 years, 20 years. Wait, let's see.
We
I
are
was
so
in Campbell
excited.
and yeah, holy crap. It's 1992 is when I was in Campbell.
We were there from 2013 to 2017.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm
And
old.
we've been trying to get back ever
Wow.
since,
It's been
you
over
know.
30 years. How
Yeah.
does that even happen? Wow.
I don't know. We've got some really great friends there. And of course, I'll be near Dr. Barry. I'll be near Chris Cooking Nashville. So I've got plans.
Yeah, sure.
I've got carnivore and keto plans
Do it.
for that area. But yeah, it's maybe we can bring you in and have a
I would
talk.
love to come down and talk. I would absolutely, I do in a heartbeat.
I don't know how to finagle that, but I figure as a sergeant major's wife, I can figure something
Well,
out.
I mean, even if you decide to have an event or something like, Fort Campbell
I
Keto Expo.
I've got plans to try to do stuff. And Chris Cooking Nashville's like, hey, she says she's got plans. I'm
Let's
like,
do it.
oh yeah, we got
Let's do it.
plans.
I'm all
I
in.
got enough connections that we can put something together. I think it is important. Like, I have some friends that are in the jujitsu world down there that own a gym.
Okay.
And we've got some carnivore jujitsu people in the space. So I'm like, let's bring them in.
Yeah.
I got some really cool plans floating around
All
in my
right.
head, ideas. We'll brainstorm. But yeah, I love what you're doing. Hopefully it would be really good if we can get people in the veterans community. I do have a group that I'm trying to get off the ground eventually for soldiers,
Mhm.
sailors, active duty and veterans. It doesn't matter, to come together and support each other in this
Yeah.
lifestyle, because the military does not support it.
No.
It is like, if you look at the DFAC, the chow halls, if anybody doesn't know what a DFAC is, it is mostly plant-based. You can have as much of the carbs that you want, but they limit your protein, which is backwards to what we should be feeding our elite forces. Like,
Mhm.
we're supposed to have the best military in the world, and we're feeding them shit. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's a problem,
Big problem.
Yeah. Oh, Elvis says their VA supports the diet and encourages it.
That's awesome.
I know that
It's all
Dr.
based on the doctors that you get, right? Because I know some of
Mark
the doctors
Bucazella is at the
who
VA.
not anymore.
Oh, is he not?
Nope. They let him go.
Oh, but probably because
Partially because of but partially because he was proponent of ketogenic treatments.
See, the VA sucks.
Yep, just happened a couple of weeks ago. And
Ah,
he's I know I think he's been working on appealing it or trying to figure out how to get back in, but I just talked to him a couple of weeks ago and he was like, "Yep, I'm out."
that is so unfortunate, because he was the one advocate
If
in there.
Elvis, if you can email me any information on that pilot study, that would be awesome. Where, like, what VA you're at, who your doctors are, I'd love to get information about that.
I heard whispers that this was happening somewhere.
So because there's programs, and I was just looking at some of this stuff today. The VA had a program with Verta a couple years ago that they piloted some things, and then it fell off. It didn't really take off. There's 2 or 3 other specific programs they have for diabetes. They had a specific therapeutic carbohydrate restriction program that they were piloting somewhere. So there's stuff happening, but none of it is really taken off, is mainstream, or is kind of working necessarily. So whatever info you have, that would be awesome if you're allowed to share anything about that.
Yeah, if you can put
I'd
that
love
in
to.
there, or you can message it to Me personally, and we can look into it. I think
Yeah.
I've got a banner. Do I have a banner with my email? I do. Yeah.
There you
It's super easy.
go.
I tried to not make it complicated. But yeah, you can ask my dietitian for the specifics. The fact that you have a dietitian that is doing it
That's awesome. Yeah.
is awesome,
And it's
because
not
most
just the
dietitians,
doctors.
yeah, because most of them are like, yeah. So yeah, you can email it to me if you want to, or if you can, and then yeah. So,
So
but
yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate it. And I hope everybody goes and donates a little bit to help out. We want to see the quicker we can get to the goal of
what was the
the
goal?
dollar goal, 3,500.
3,500.
Yeah.
I
It
think I
doesn't seem
need
like it's
people to
that much.
understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need people to look at that. So think about this, and they do comprehensive health, guys. When I mean comprehensive, I mean comprehensive health. They do not take insurance. It is a subscription type based, like, monthly fee
Yeah.
that you pay. There's a one-time fee and then a monthly fee. $3,500 for one person that is going to be healed of a lot of things.
A lot of things.
So, yeah. So consider how much insurance pays for medications, procedures that have to be done. I mean, just one colonoscopy will cost somebody like $7,000. So it's like, yeah, and now I'm throwing out a number that's out of my rear, literally. Haha, colonoscopy, rear. Haha. Bad joke. I know. But anyway, so I know I'm horrible. But yeah, so it's like $3,500. That's not a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money to some people, but considering the cost of healthcare and
Yeah.
how much are they going to be getting off of medications,
Right. And that's the thing.
and paying it forward, healing will save the government hundreds of thousands of dollars later.
There's a whole case to be made. And Dr. Tro's, one of their big focus is corporate wellness. And they've got
Yes.
one of their studies is they're showing anywhere from, I think, $1,000 to $4,000 per employee per year that they're saving in healthcare costs. If you can take that same concept, those same numbers, and apply it to the VA, could you imagine how much money the VA would save? Right? How many veterans we could get out of just get them out of the VA healthcare system altogether. Screw it. You don't need it. Go live your life. You know, that's the goal. That's the plan.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that goal and I love that plan.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So appreciate all the help.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll post it everywhere else. I've already shared it in my personal page because you saw that, but I'll also post it in all kinds of other groups. Did you post it in the carnivore bodybuilding group yet?
I don't think I did.
Go ahead and post it.
Okay. Are you an admin there? There's some groups I don't want to post things in because I don't know how they feel about different things. So, but I'll post it there.
I am a moderator there. I'm not an admin. I'm a moderator. So I'll make sure that nobody touches it.
Okay, cool.
I mean, Rob won't care and neither will Krista. If somebody reports it, they'll get kicked out.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks.
I'm a butthole in that group. So, all right. Everybody has been awesome.
Yes, always.
Wait, Elvis says, when I say my medical team supports it, my PCP, primary nurse, dietitian, neurosurgeon, cardiologist, and physical therapist told me to keep doing it. We have changed.
Can I get all of them into a video, into a Zoom, and we can talk? That'd be awesome.
Ooh. Reach out. I will. And if you don't, do you know him personally, Elvis?
I don't.
Do you know Elvis? Okay. Elvis, feel free to contact me. Or I don't know if Bronson has an email.
It's super easy. It might even be easier than yours. Bronson at coach.bronson.com.
Like, there you go. Bronson at coach. Okay. You can ask them. Yes. So Bronson at coach.bronson.com. If I put it in, it'll kick out if I try to put it in there. Bronson at coach.bronson.com, and email him and see if you guys can get that in, because that would be
cool.
Amazing. Yeah. So,
or even Elvis, even just talking to you. So one of the other things, like, I'd love to maybe just talk to you, get your story, where you've come from, how long you've been doing it, whatever else. Or maybe we could just document your journey as you go and kind of see, because one of the things like that I'll be working with Dr. Tro, we plan on getting some testimonies, identifying who he's got in the program now that are veterans, getting their story, where they come from, how have they done in the program, things like that. So I want to start talking to more veterans that are doing this and saying, hey, what's your story? Let's do this. We can highlight you, do something to call out and share that this is something that's working for people. And we need to get more people doing it.
Yeah, we definitely do. And that's a goal for ours too, is that to support the veterans community as much as possible. And right now we're focusing on active, but yeah.
Cool.
I wanted to make sure I tracked my progress. So quite a bit of blood work done and a CT angiogram. Yay. Sweet. And if you haven't seen the new studies out on LDL, go look up Nick Norwitz and watch his channel and go see that, because they are flipping things on their heads and it is heating up. The backlash on LDL is like, yeah. So, all right, everybody, I have to run. I know that Coach Bronson's got things to do too. So we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It's been a long time coming.
It has been. It's been, oh my gosh, years coming. So, all right, everybody, we will see you again next time, and just watch for the replay. Bye, guys.
See you guys.